contact with him. They've not been able to. His mother wants to make contact with him. She's not been able to. And I, of course, have tried to make contact with him because he resides in the state of Maryland, and that is where his wife and mother and brother also reside. So there's been no ability to find out anything about his health and well-being. The U.S. Embassy here has not been asked by the Trump administration to inquire about his health and well-being. And I should point out that this inability to communicate with his lawyers is a violation of international law. El Salvador is a party to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. El Salvador has signed and ratified that covenant. And that covenant says, and I quote, "A detained or imprisoned person shall be entitled to communicate and consult with his legal counsel," unquote. I should say also on this trip, I met with some representatives of human rights and civil society groups. Who expressed concerns about many things, including the inability to communicate with prisoners in CECOT. I also met with the terrific American Embassy team here in El Salvador during my visit. And we discussed the full range of important bilateral relations between the United States and El Salvador. And I can tell you the people of the United States want to have very good and strong relationships with the people of El Salvador. In my state of Maryland, we have a very vibrant and successful Salvadorian community. And they contribute greatly to our state. And so we'd like to see more economic relationships, stronger economic relationships and investment in El Salvador from the United States. I also met with embassy representatives from the FBI, from the DEA, and DHS. And we have a long-time common goal between the United States and El Salvador to crack down on transnational gangs like MS-13. I have been fighting against MS-13 for probably longer than Donald Trump even heard about MS-13. And they're trying to make this case about Kilmar all about MS-13. When in fact, the judge in the case has said they've not provided substantial or any significant evidence to back up their claim. I am here not to vouch for any particular set of facts or for claims, but I am here to vouch for the judicial system in the United States, which guarantees individuals the right to due process. And that is the difference between being illegally detained and abducted, like Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and the right to have your day in court and present the facts. Everybody gets to present the facts to a judge, and the judge has looked at those facts and so far concluded that Mr. Abrego Garcia was illegally abducted and taken out of the country and now sits illegally in CECOT prison in El Salvador. And we need to make sure that the court system works and due process works, because if you take it away for any individual, it's a very short road to taking it away for every American. And with that, I'm ready to take any questions you may have.
En este momento vamos a abrir la oportunidad de prensa, de preguntas y respuestas. Por favor, les pido que se identifiquen con el medio que representan y digan su nombre, por favor.
Yes.
Senador, uno de los objetivos era reducir la regulación. Volver a El Salvador en un corto tiempo debido a que no pudo hacerlo.
Yeah. So I do intend to keep at this until we ensure that Mr. Abrego Garcia has his rights to due process, which is what the courts of the United States have called for. They have said that his abduction is illegal, and they have called upon him to be brought back to the United States. So I will keep at this, but I can assure you that while I may be the first senator and first member of the United States Congress to come here to El Salvador in this case. I certainly will not be the last. There'll be many more coming. Because we won't give up until Kilmar has his due process rights respected.
Siguiente pregunta. Senador, buenas tardes. Fernando Morales de Canal 12. Un gusto saludarlo. Tengo una consulta. ¿Qué impacto podría tener este caso en la cooperación bilateral entre ambos países, como la migración, lucha contra el crimen organizado o asistencia económica? ¿Y qué acciones diplomáticas o legislativas se podrían tomar en contra de El Salvador si se sigue ignorando a la justicia estadounidense?
Well, as I said in my opening statement, I think people of the United States want to have very good relationship with the people of El Salvador, and that includes expanding our economic relationship. But I will say that if the government of El Salvador remains complicit in the illegal detention of Mr. Abrego Garcia in CECOT prison, then there will be, I think, actions proposed, certainly, to take until we resolve this very important issue. Because American taxpayers' dollars should not be used in a way that violates the court orders of the United States.
Siguiente pregunta.
Buenas tardes, senador. Les saluda también Arevalo sobre la visita que usted quería realizar este día al CECOT. ¿La embajada le ayudó en algún momento a gestionar esa visita o también solicitó esa visita a la casa presidencial directamente y no fue concedida la entrada?
So two steps were taken. Number one, the United States Embassy did communicate to the government of El Salvador my request to visit CECOT and to meet with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. So they relayed my request to the government of El Salvador. And then yesterday, when I met with the vice president, I asked again about exactly that, about chance to go see Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And again, I emphasized that my goal in visiting with him was to check on his health and his well-being.